Hello and welcome to another August release highlights webcast. I've got Toyin and Sergey here. So Toyin is our head of product here at Charge Automation. And we also have Sergey, who was here last time, but he was hidden. But now I've got him on
Hello.
camera. So welcome, Sergey. I myself am Nick Rennie again from Charge Automation, and I manage marketing and growth. So very excited to bring a huge bunch of releases actually this August. I'm going to dive straight in. Twin, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, super excited to do the second release podcast. I think that's what you call it. So super excited to kind of show the new features, the new improvements we've done to our product. This is just a few of the items, right? The highlights. But there's a lot more that's not here. So you might see changes in the application. You will probably send out a newsletter and stuff like that, right? So you get more details. But let's jump right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is guest flags. So we got a lot of complaints that depending on the country the person is coming from, the guest, they were seeing the same flag, right? So for example, I'm in Canada and I want to see a Canadian flag, right? Or you're in the US, you want to see a US flag. And we've updated that. So now based on where you're accessing the guest portal or pre-check-in pages, online check-in, you would see the flag that corresponds to your country,
That's it.
right? Something that small, you wouldn't think it would matter, but it does, right? And we've made that improvement, and a lot of our clients love it, right? I've gotten messages about this, so super
That's
excited
cool.
about this one.
Yeah, Latin American, imagine that's a big thing because there's so many different countries that speak Spanish. And in Spain, you don't want to see a Latin American flag, you want to see the Spain flag. Yeah, I get it. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
That's a nice one.
exactly. And thank you so much for showing what that is. I will also show my at the end. I'll probably show my screen so you can see my flag while I'm showing a few things. The next one we can talk about is the guest form, right? The additional guest form. We redesigned that to be more modern, to look a lot better. Um, she's gonna wait for Sergey to kind of pull that up. Yeah, so it looks a lot better now. It looks cleaner. We've used because
Nice.
previously we redesigned the pre-check-in page, the online check-in page for the main guest, but this is for your additional guests. So we get this beautiful form that is seamless to fill out. The fields they feel more fluid. The calendar component pops up direct right away and stuff like that, right? So it just looks a lot better, right? So we're
Nice.
really proud of this improvement.
That's a big change actually on the calendar side as well. Actually, that's a lot simpler to fill out because I remember we spoke about that one before.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you so much, Sergey, for filling that out. Yeah, let's put all your fine details. Uh, the next one, while Sergey is doing this, even the just come back to this, the document upload looks a lot better. They can upload the document. Once they upload the document for security reasons, it just tells them what status it's in and stuff like that, right? So, as you know, everything's GDR,
GDPR.
GDPR is that. Thank you.
Yeah, I get it wrong.
Compliant. It's compliant, so they can say, they can submit all these different details, right? And as you can see, something that's very cool about this is once they submit, um, you will see it's going to tell them, okay, previously there was no indication that was submitted. Now it's actually going to tell them that it's submitted. If you scroll to the top, it would show, you see how now it says update details and it shows passport is submitted. And at the top, it tells you can still make edits by updating the fields below, registration submitted, right? So it kind of gives them this feedback that they know what's going on, right? Previously, it was just you submitted and there was nothing, right? So now it's very intuitive and looks very cool. The next thing I want to talk about is the cart UX improvements. Previously, when we designed the cards, we did it as a bottom sheet, right? And the reason we did that was because it looked cool, it looked modern. But practicality caused a lot of issues, right? Because when you have a bottom sheet, especially in a web browser, it can cause some issues. So what we've done is actually revamped this to be better in terms of now it shows as a pop-up within that page. So you can see it as a pop-up, you can scroll through, you can play with it, you can do whatever, you can add more items to the cards as you're going. But now it doesn't block you accessing all the pages. As you can see right now, excuse me, and again, this is our test server. But as you can see, it's a pop-up. You can see cancel next. Next means you go to the next tab because you've selected those upsells. If it's an upsell that is quantity, you can increase the quantity directly there. So it's very simple, very easy to use now, right? As you can
That's
see
cool.
at the top, you see the cart icon with the numbers that tells you how many items in the cart. And then this is the e-commerce style, right? The Amazon style flow, right? A little bit, right? So yeah, we made that improvement. And again, I've done a lot of feedback about this. The bottom sheet caused a lot of issues, so we're really proud of this one, right? That this has really removed all those issues and people can use this seamlessly.
There he goes.
Awesome, awesome. The next one I want to talk about is the payment tab, actually, online check-in enhancements, right? We've really cleaned up this tab. We spent a lot of time and a lot of design effort on this tab, to make it easy for a guest, right? So what we've done is you can see now the summary is at the top, which is the items they need to pay for or when it's scheduled or what status it's on. And at the bottom, you see the add-ons, right? The upsells, right? That they purchased. And then if you go to the bottom, um, what you will notice is here, right? Now they can, the card is already there because ChargeAutomation, we have the card details, so it's easy for them to purchase. But even if the card is not and they click on edit, it just opens a form for them to add a card easily, right? And they can add their card and complete payments and proceed to the next step, right? So we spent a lot of time to redesign this just to make it clean, to make it seamless, and to make it more user friendly and more modern, right? So guests shouldn't have any issues understanding why they're on this page, what they need to do next, and stuff like that, right? Um, yeah, thank you, Sergey. Sergey's completing 3DS. So as that's completed, now you can go to pay continue, or you can edit the card, whichever flow you want to follow. Let's go to pay and continue, um, which is now you're paying for the upsells. Done,
Very cool.
right? Very seamless, very easy. They go to the next summary page, they can complete they can e-sign. And this takes me to the next point that we want to talk about. This is previously, at this point, all we showed was digital signature, but there was no indication of what am I signing, right? What is this for? So what we've done is we've changed this to say sign rental agreement with a tooltip that says signature will be applied to the rental agreement in the link below, right?
Yeah.
So they can e-sign and actually read the terms and condition. Now, your next question can be, what if I don't have rental agreement? What's it going to say? If you don't have rental agreement, that's not going to be there. It's just going to say digital signature, and there'll be no tooltip because there's nothing. You just want the signature. Now, ideally, you would want the signature to attach it to a rental agreement, right? But yeah, so we tailor our solution to both cases, right? So it works for anyone, for all property managers, right? Um, like I said, again, it says sign rental agreement, and the tutor tells them exactly what they're signing. Right. So now it's intuitive. Now the guest knows exactly what's going on, and it's easy for them to digest this information.
That's so
Right.
important. I'm going to add just onto that. It's really important that the whole journey be as clear as possible because guests, they're going through a lot of things. They're fumbling with their passports. They're fumbling with all sorts, and they don't know what they're signing. You get hesitance, and then people start making mistakes. They start contacting you. Then you, as a host, you've got more on your plate. So this actually helps loads, and I think it's a lot clearer. Yeah, so really good.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Now we're going to switch on to my screen because I want to show a few things that I'm super excited to talk about, right? And that's why I say I want to do this presentation because I talk a lot, so just ignore me if I'm talking too fast. Well, no, ignore me. But I'll
I
try to talk
was going
slow.
to
I'll
say
try to talk slow.
we are listening.
I'll definitely try to talk a lot slower. But the next one I want to talk about is our book and listings page. We've completely redesigned this page, again, to be more modern and to be user friendly, right? For property managers, we want you to, when you get on this page, you should have an idea, an overview of everything that has to do with your reservations,
Mhm.
right? And that's what we've done, right? And I'm going to go through it this way. Um, First of all, we've kind of condensed the information that we provide on this page to be simpler. So number one, you have your ID, you have your dates, which is check-in and check-out date, number of nights, the guest name, the online check-in status. This, if you highlight over there, will tell you the guests who completed online check-in versus the total guest on that reservation. And, the security deposit, the status of the security deposit, the reservation amount, and the status,
Mhm.
right? So one thing I want to start with is now you can actually still filter. So you can click on this filter and say, I want to see the earliest check-in to the latest. So from check-ins from the first check-in I've had to the latest one in the future, right? You can do that for earliest check-in, and check-out dates, right? So you can filter by those, right? You can filter by the guest name. You can filter by the reservation amount. And we're also going to add filters to security deposit. That's actually currently in progress. Um, but let's start with the in progress. We've had people say, I'm not sure what's going on with this guest. What step are they on? Right. And you couldn't tell that previously. But now you can. And look at this. It tells you in progress when you click on it, it tells you what step they're on. So for example, this client, This is actually my account. This guest has actually gone through the first step, which is clicking on get started, but they stopped on basic info, right? And the other steps are not even touched yet. They've not even gone to those steps. I can see that right there, right? Let's look at the one that's completed, right? Let's use this one. This guest actually went through all the steps, and also the additional guests, see how it's 3 out of 3. So all guests have completed online check-in, right? You can see that right off the bat, right? You don't have to go to booking details page to go find this, right? I think this is super helpful because now you know exactly what status of reservation is on,
Mhm.
right? And another thing I can talk about, if say for the additional guest, right? This one has 3, so the additional guest is 2. I can click on this to go see what the additional guest is doing, right? But that's the flow we always had, so that's the same thing. Um, but again, just to go over this one more time so you understand the value is you click on this and it tells you the exact status the guest is on, right? In progress during this one. So if a guest tells you, hey, I can't access my pre-check-in, you can say, you know what, it's because you're on adult services, you've not completed pre-check-in, right? To them, it should be obvious to them, but again, this is just to help you as a property manager identify what's going on. Now, the next thing I want to show you is very fast. The other things we've done is access code. For example, on clicking on this button, the drop down to bring this down, you can see the access code directly on the booking listings page, right? This one doesn't have one because it hasn't generated. Maybe I think it's an old booking, that's why. But if there was an access code linked to this reservation, it would be right there, right? It would tell them this is your access code, and it gives you a quick tooltip that says you can use the dynamic variable name booking access code in your messaging. So I can use this variable and go to my guides, go to my messages, and use that variable to access the access code linked to this reservation,
Yeah.
right? Other things I want to talk about on this page is it tells you what the payment type is. This is a credit card reservation, but if it was virtual card, this would say virtual card, right? It tells you the guest contact, the arrival time, and something very powerful. Here is the messages, right? Obviously, booking activity kind of tells you it's like a log of everything that's happened with this reservation, right? This is where you find that. But the other cool piece here is messages. You get to see every single message that has been sent to you as a host and also your guest within this same page, right? So here I can see I got a new email, a new booking email as a host. I
Mhm.
also got because the email wasn't present, I got an email saying guest email missing. Um, I also got authorization overdue. I got different emails, right? This is going to lead to my next point where I'm going to kind of tie them in together, right? So any email that's sent to the guest, any email that's sent to the host, you can see directly here. And the other cool thing we've done, again, like I said, I talk a lot, so I'm just going up because I'm super excited. But
Keep going, keep
the
going,
other
keep
cool thing
going.
we've done, the other very cool thing we've done that I love is when you click on view message, so this icon, you can actually go directly to that template to go edit that template, right? So let's say, let me see if there's one that I sent a reservation to, so it's more relevant. Okay, guest. So I have this message that went out, complete your pre-check-in. So this is your complete your pre-check-in template message. What if I read this and I'm like, you know what? I don't like what it says here. I want to update that. You can directly click on edit template message, and it takes you directly to our template messages to that specific template to go edit, right?
Very cool.
Excuse me. This will load up. See this. It tells you recipient guest, template, select template, complete pre-check-in notification. And this is a template that was sent to the guest. I can edit this directly by accessing it from the messages tab in booking listings page. Right. So that's something I really like, I really love. And this is going to lead to my next point. I'm going to go back to this reservation. Some property managers think this is too many messages, right? To be fair, right? You can say, okay, I don't need to get new booking notification. I don't need to get guest email missing. I don't need this stuff, right? I'm okay now receiving it. And what we've done is, if I go to my notifications, um, preferences, notifications, what we've done is giving you the ability to subscribe or unsubscribe to email notifications, right? And you simply do that by just removing your email. I don't want to get this email. Sure, I'm just going to remove it from there, and that's it. You don't have to, and all these messages that you receive as a host is directly here, right? You can remove your email, and it can be blank, and you don't receive that email, right? You don't want it to cloud to make your inbox full. You can do that
Yeah.
right now in Charge Automation. Um, the other thing we've done. is if I go to same preferences and I go to template messages. Now the first one I spoke about is messages to um to you as a host. But what about messages to the guest, right? What if I don't want to send these messages to the guest? What if I'm okay sending it a different way, or I don't want to bug them down with too many messages. I just want to send one and that's it. You can do that, right? If you go to your template messages, which again you go from settings to preferences to template messages, choose recipient as guest, and I'm going to use, let's say, pre-checking completion confirmation. Right, I'll use that one. What you can do now is you can turn off this trigger to say enable email notification off. I'm going to keep mine on because I want them to receive it, but you can turn this off, right? That's fully configured, and that's configurable for every single notification, both SMS and email that goes out to your guest, right? Um, yeah, I was gonna say any questions, but you guys already know the product, so I'm still getting used to this. But if you have any questions about this, please feel free to reach out to support. But yeah, I'll keep going.
No, no, it's
Nick, any
good.
questions from your end?
No, no. The key thing is a comment more than anything else. And like I said, managing. I've got 24 properties, and it's just when you get so many messages coming in at once, especially during peak season, it can just literally flood your inbox. So I think being able to kind of decide what you want. And there are some messages which are useful, but I don't think they're always relevant at the time. You just don't care. Payment confirmations, and you are looking at charge automation. People who manage properties are continually looking at the dashboard, and to fill up their inbox it can be quite tedious. So I think the feature, the option to be able to disable particular ones is a really really useful thing. It's obviously not mission critical, but it does save you a lot of time filtering out your inbox. And at the end of the day, I've seen it myself. You can have maybe 300 or 400 unread emails, even though they're irrelevant. But you've got hundreds of unread emails, and then you've got to kind of clean it all out. So that's time consuming. So no, really really good. And I think having both
Yeah,
options to have it is important there too.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, thank you so much. Awesome. Yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about is branding. I know we've spoken about this a lot, but it's something that keeps coming back, and I love talking about it. So I'm just gonna dive right into it. Um, Now you can set up your guest portal online checking pages to have your specific brand. And the way we've done it in Charge Automation is you can have a company brand, so one brand that works for all your properties, or you can have unique property brands, right? And I'll show you how that looks. So what I'm gonna do is on your account to show you branding, you go to your icon for your logo. Through your logo, you go to your profile icon, and you click on branded. I'm already on that page, and you can set up company brand by just clicking on this and using your company brand, or you can set up property name and brand, which is what I'm using for my account. Um, and if you use property name and brand, I'm just going to go to property that I'm using. Okay, that's a check-in. Let me just go to this property. I'll go to properties. I can actually go from even me. I could have gone from go to properties directly on that page, but anyways, I'll go to my property. And I will use this property as an example. And what we've done, like I said, is you can now customize the online check-in and guest portal pages to fit your brand preference, right? So in my case, I'm using property branding, and as you can see, I've chosen my the image of my property and the logo, right? And if you go to my guest portal, you would see the same thing. You would see the image of my property on the banner, and then the logo right there, right? And then the property name, right? If I use company branded, it would show whatever image I upload for my company right there, and then the logo for my property right there, right?
Cool.
One thing I can, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I just think I think it looks really, really cool. I think
Yeah,
it looks so much better. I mean, at the end of the day, it just makes everything stand out a lot more. Which is, as a property manager, you want your property to stand out. So, big, big difference here.
correct, correct. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna show you how it looks on mobile. So you see, is the same effect, is the banner and is the logo, right? And is the property name too. Um, I'll come back to that. Let me go back here, and I think there was one more point I was gonna mention. Um, Okay, I think I covered that piece. Yeah, so just you upload your image, you upload your logo, which is perfect. You come back here because we're on this call. My computer just gets super slow. But anyways, um, as you can see right there, right. So you have your. Oh, one thing I was going to mention. That's what I was forgetting is as you can see, my flag now is Canada because I'm in Canada. So the
There
flag
you
is
go.
Canada.
Very nice.
Exactly. um, Canada flag, the property banner, and the logo, and the property name, right? So like I said, the branding piece is huge, right? It's massive because now, again, you can use a company-wide one or you can use a per property one, right? So very cool. The next thing I want to talk about is I've talked about notification management, is upsell, stats, and I will use this account for my upsell.
Nice.
People want to know how well their upsells are doing, right? Based on time frame, based on which one is doing the best, right? So it kind of makes you understand how different items or products are doing. And that's exactly what we're giving you the ability to see on the upsell page itself, right? So to see this, you go to upsell, you go to manage upsell, and then you land on this page. It shows a pretty cool animation. I just want to show that off real quick. So once that loads up, let me switch to all time. It shows you the amount of upsells in terms of quantity and amount. Right, as you can see here, this is my test account. So this is the amount I've made from upsells, total
Ooh,
upsells that I've sold. I know that's a huge amount,
I was
but
going to
this is
say
my test
1.1
account.
million. Yeah, you're doing good.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'm just gonna say it again. This is my test account. So I
Uh-huh.
left my real account, came to the test account.
This is what he
Um,
tells everybody, right? You know.
exactly, exactly. But yeah, as you can see, so you can look at you can choose a time frame to look at the how much you've done, and many you've sold, and then you can choose the product. So here it tells you, and again, as you can see, it's test
Super
account. You
nice.
can see all this jargons, but it kind of tells you what products have done the best, right? So the name and the total revenue.
Nice.
It tells you the orders, the requests, and the ones you've declined. I've declined a lot of upsells. That's interesting. But it kind of puts all that data right in front of you, so you know the value of your upsells. You know how well they're doing,
Yeah.
right? So that's very cool. I'm gonna go back to my let me just close this. My guidebook, right? This is my guidebook. And something cool that we've introduced. So I'll give it a scenario. A property manager gets a message saying, "Hey, listen, I want to purchase parking." And the property manager is like, "Okay, just go on your guest portal and go find parking upsell." They can do that, right? But as a property manager, I can say, you know what? I can just send you the parking upsell directly, right?
That's really cool.
And the way
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
do that, right? The way you do that is you go on that guest portal, you open the parking, the one. So this to me, this is parking. You can copy this link and just send it to that guest. And when they open that link, it's gonna open the parking upsell directly to them for them to purchase, right? Again,
Amazing.
let me click this.
And I just want to add, a lot of the time hosts talk to their guests via WhatsApp. I mean, I do this all the time. And, if you just say, hey, you just have to go here, 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 they don't do it, or they just kind of get frustrated. If you can just say, click on this link and you can buy your upsell, job done. I think that's
Exactly,
so much easier. So, and like I said,
exactly.
most of us talk through WhatsApp because that's how the short-term rental space works. So,
Yep.
very, very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You got it. There, so as you can see, you send them this link, and this is exactly what opens it, and they can add it to their cart.
Nice.
The other thing we've done is we go back here. You can do the same thing for instructions, which is a guide. So this is my guide, right? Here's your access code. I can copy this link to that guide. Again, same scenario, right? You guest calling, hey, listen, I need this, this, this. You're like, oh, it's in a guide, but I can't find it for some reason. They should be able to find it, but just send me a link. You can do that. You can just copy, paste, and once that loads, it's going to show them exactly the guide you want them to see,
Very cool.
right? As you can see, it's super powerful, super helpful, super just, it makes the journey a lot easier for your guest, right? Again, when I'm recording on this platform, it just makes everything slow on my end. Um,
And I want to add,
but yeah,
this is our test platform, so everything runs at different, very, very
exactly.
differently. So you guys use it on production, it's a completely different ball game. So yeah,
Correct. Correct. Let me see what else I want to talk about. Oh, one thing just FYI that we've done to make it easier for property managers to identify their properties is if your property has an internal name, we prioritize the internal name over the external name because the internal name is typically what the property managers use on the PMS.
Mhm.
The external name is for the marketing, is for your guests, is for them to see a beautiful name. But the internal name for a lot of property managers is what they see, right, on a day-to-day basis. So that's what we do now. So on the booking listings page and the filters, when you select your property, um, all these different places, you're gonna see your internal property name, right? And that just makes it a lot easier for you to navigate through our application, right? Um, Another thing I can throw in there, and just FYI, the guests will keep seeing the preferred external property name, right? Which is the marketing name, right? They'll keep seeing that. But for you as a host, you will be seeing the internal name. Um, okay, I'll just throw this one in there as part of my list. We now support 3DS for Pelicard. So if you use Pelicard payment gateway, 3DS is not supported, so enjoy. Two items I'm going to go over now that are by request on our pay plans are number one, you have the ability to disable the option for guests to upload existing documents and require real-time photo capture instead. I just read that, so I'm going to explain what that means. Um, Everyone knows we have an auto verification tool, right? So it's our identity tool for guest screening. Now, when a guest is going through that, they have two options for the documents, not for selfie. Selfie is always real time. But if you're uploading your document, if when it comes to the document, you have two options. You can upload your document or you can take a picture of it. Now, some property managers don't want them to upload their documents, right? Because
Mhm.
it can increase fraud. So what we have now is the abilities for you as a client, as a property manager to say, no, I do not want my guests to upload documents. I want them to take a real-time photo. Right. Again, the selfie is always real-time photo, but the document you have two options. But this is a buy request feature, right? Where you just reach out to a support team, buy request on our pay plan, reach out to a support team, and they'll get the setup for you. Where the guest now has no option but to take a real-time picture of their documents,
That's
right?
cool.
Yeah, the second thing we built is guest name comparison. And this is a feature. I'm just going to read it and then explain it. We've introduced a feature to automatically compare the reservation name with the name extracted from the guest uploaded document. What does that mean, right? It means when a guest goes through the screening process, we scrape their name from their documents. We get their name from the documents, right? The exact name. Now, you as a property manager might say, I want to be able to compare the name from their document to the name on the reservation. Now you can do that with charge automation. Right now we support this feature, right? So you can say if the names don't match to a certain degree, right? There's the AI, there's this artificial intelligence piece to this, right? But if the names don't match to a certain degree, reject it. You can do that with charge automation. Again, it's a buy request feature. Reach out to a support team and they can enable this on your account. Um, Another thing I want to talk about is account health updates. So some of you have probably gotten this email. It's every 2 weeks email where we tell you how well your account is doing. Right? It tells you you've had this many upsells in the past 2 weeks. You've had this many reservations, this many information that comes to the guest, and blah blah blah. Right? So every 2 weeks you get this email that kind of gives you an overview of your account status and your account health, right? Super helpful, super useful. Please use it, read it. Um, and he also adds nuggets, right? He adds these, okay, how can you increase your brand awareness? How can you increase on completion rate on your account? You want more accounts to you want more guests to complete online check-in? It tells you how to do that, right? So it's not just an email just to throw away. It's actually it contains very good information. So please check it out. Um, the other one that we've done, kind of a small highlight, is and I showed this previously in our activity logs. Whenever there's any updates, it's gonna be logged here. So it can be stuff like the day changes, the check-in date changes, the checkout date changes, the amount of the reservation changes, the booking when the guest name, anything that happens to a reservation will be logged in the booking activities. So check that
Mhm.
out. So that will be your first point of contact when you have questions about a reservation. Is go check out the activity log, see what's going on, and give you details and timestamp and who carried out the action, right? Attempted. Was it auto attempted? Was it by a team member? Who was the team member that did it?
That's
Right.
really good. Auditing, yeah, believe me, you need that. Yeah, that comes back. No, that's really, really cool one to have actually. Because
Yeah.
again, especially when you get two new team members, summer staff, you name it, you need to know who makes these things, who makes these decisions. So very, very cool.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And the last but not least item I'm going to talk about is, as you all know, we support webhooks. So let me just show what that is real quick. So if you go to settings, integrations, you go to webhooks. Um, we support webhooks. And what is webhooks? A lot of property managers want to push data from charge automation to third-party tools, right? So a good example is this. Let's say you have a call-in system, right? I can't remember the name of the one I set up recently for a property manager. But they have a system where they make calls from that system, right? And they use it to keep track of anything going on. Let's say you have that system and you want to get the reservations and the details from ChargeAutomation to those systems. You use what we call webhooks, right? Now, Zapier is a good way to use this, right? And we'll do another video. Nick, we can probably do another video how this is set up on Zapier and stuff like that,
That'd
right?
be a great idea.
Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. So let's say I come here and I say, you know what, whenever a new booking is created, or whenever pre-checking is completed, or whenever a payment is successful, whenever an upsell is purchased, I want to push data to a third-party system, my CRM, my phone calling. I think it was Open Phone. Now I remember. I think it was Open Phone. I want to push it to my CRM. I want to push it to different systems. You can do that here, right? And what would happen is when you turn this on, whenever a new booking is created in ChargeAutomation or pre-checking is completed, we will push it directly to that third party. Now, if you use Zapier, we'll push it to Zapier, and because you set up that template in Zapier, again, we'll do another video about this. It would just automate that flow for you from ChargeAutomation to Zapier to your third-party system. Now, what we've done is, if you have custom domain set up, the links that will come to you from our webhooks will be a custom domain link, right? That's a small part of this, but the power of the webhooks, honestly, it's huge. Let me say it this way: ChargeAutomation now integrates with how many third-party system? I think it was 7,000 is what Zapier integrates with. Now, because we integrate with Zapier, you have access to 7,000 plus third-party systems that you can use with ChargeAutomation. That is powerful. That's huge, right? That is huge. Again, I'm going to repeat myself. We're going to do a video on this to kind of show you how that works.
We have to, because this is a big topic, actually.
It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, now you can get that data into your third-party system. You can put the URL there, and then the link that will go to your third-party system will be a custom domain link if you have custom domain set up in CA. And I've talked a lot, but that's most of the highlights that I want to talk about today. I'm just gonna stop talking now.
Toyin, that was awesome. No, listen, I think like I said, August has been a big release month, and we have a ton more coming up in September as well. So yeah, I think it's really awesome. I mean, just summarizing everything here, you can see, and I'm just going to little QR code up the corner here. So you guys can always scan that anytime, and that takes you straight to the QR, to the release notes. But yeah, like I said, just summarizing, this is just, part of what we've released. And there's a whole ton of bug fixes as well. Not that there are that many bugs anyway, but obviously we always have to try and make updates, improvements, efficiency updates, etc. So no, that's really awesome. And yeah, finally, even though we've got the QR code up here in the top left corner, go to this URL again, or scan the QR code using your mobile phone, and it will take you to our release notes. And as always, if you've got any questions regarding ChargeAutomation, you are a current user and you'd like to learn about these new features, reach out to our team. They'll be more than happy to onboard you and help you with that. If you're not a ChargeAutomation user, I highly recommend you give us a go. It's completely free to sign up. So, create your account with us. It doesn't cost you anything, so you have absolutely nothing to lose. We have over 60 payment gateway integrations. More than that, what I'm talking about. We have 60 PMS integrations and over 130 payment gateway integrations. So ultimately, we are a very global tool, and we will work using your local payment gateways in your local countries, which is fantastic. We also operate all the other features, guidebooks, upsells, ID verification, and if you're in Spain, Hospedajes, which is our authority reporting, we also support that in other countries too. So yeah, just take a look. We're a huge product, so I think it's definitely it's a no-brainer if you're looking for a guest experience platform for your for your short-term property rentals. Toyin, I think that's everything. I kind of had to rush my exit here because there was quite a lot going on there. But as always, if you have any questions, I'm going to sign off. Toyin, thank you so much. Sergey, thank you as well.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers, guys. Have a great one.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.